And I guess like I bring it up because it's so like mind blowing that there's like an open secret of celebrities abusing regular people. Like I like that's what I feel for the most is that these artists and apparently these role models and these people in power are just taking advantage of the regular everyday Joe.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and I get they're not politicians, but the fact that that doesn't push more people to just at least like, I don't know, ask for change or like, I don't know, even just lose their shit, you know? Like people don't go up in arms.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Julyssa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And how y'all doing today?
That was a great harmony on the
Yeah, we did. We should do a boy band, bro.
probably our best one yet.
Yeah, our best, maybe our best episode
Our
yet.
best
Sing
what's
a
up yet?
song.
I'm
Sing a
calling
song.
it right now. I'm calling my shot.
Sing a song.
Sing
Go.
a song.
A song? What's a song you and me both know? We know a lot of religion songs.
Yes, Lord.
We're doing that again.
No. Please no.
What about do like, what is it? Is it called? They're called the Cranberries.
Linger?
Linger.
Yeah, do linger. Go.
No, I'll cry, bro.
I have to hear the song. You ever?
I'll start sobbing.
Do you guys ever have songs where you only know the lyrics while it's playing? Like if
Yeah. I'm also tone deaf, I think. I don't think I know how to like match tones.
Oh,
Yeah. I think I'm generally tone deaf. Have you ever heard me sing? I'm no singer.
I'm no singer.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
bad at singing. Like extremely bad. But I think it's because I'm tone deaf.
Mm.
Yeah. So you can't make fun of me. If I became religious again, would you guys still be my friend?
It depends. I mean, I'd still be your friend, but I'd be concerned.
What are you laughing
I was
at?
just thinking about that yesterday.
Why? Are you getting the itch to be religious
No,
again?
because like at work it was Religion Day or whatever. And,
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, which I didn't know. I would have never been there. Never mind.
Damn. What's that about?
Anyways,
Julie, come on. We don't spread hate on this pod.
All right, fine. We can take that out. Anyways, yeah, it was yesterday, and it was I don't know. They be glazing Jesus sometimes.
God? Oh, Jesus.
They
But
be
Religion
glazing
Day, so
Jesus.
any
What-
religion?
what
or
a sentence.
specifically like
What a
No, just
sentence.
Christian.
Y'all glazing the Son of God.
Y'all glaze God way too much.
Like when they're like, He saved me, you know.
Sure.
Like,
That's crazy.
I don't know. It's just like some of it just becomes very irritating sometimes because I'm like, you guys talk about Jesus and God, but you guys hate certain people in certain groups, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God during slavery.
Yeah, that is what gets me when
God
people
during
are
the
like,
Holocaust.
bruh.
it was God. God, this is proof God is real. And I'm like, so God right now, like not looking at all the starving children in the world.
So God has favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't hate on people who are religious. I mean, I have friends who are religious, but I do think that it's very easy to be hypocritical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Which
yeah.
I think that's what was getting to me because of just like the speeches and stuff. I think that's what was kind of irritating me. But I remember I was like, I was thinking about it. I was like, should I be religious? Am I missing something? And I was kind of like, no, because I'm like, I think there's just a lot to it. And I think I started thinking about, again, of like, like indigenous people and religion.
Yeah.
No,
And I was kind of like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, in context, it's kind of out of pocket
Yeah.
to have like indigenous ancestry and be religious. It's kind
Yeah.
of out of pocket
I
in
get you.
context.
I get you. I get what
Yeah.
you guys be meant to, you know?
Yeah,
I think-
yeah. Go ahead.
I think for me, it's just more like, I feel like if you're religious, I don't think you get to pick and choose, you know? That's more what makes me upset. And I'm only talking about Christianity, Catholicism, the one I know.
Yeah.
Is I can't stand that for some things, it's like, oh, well, come on, that's out of date. Like, I'm not going to practice that. Like, you're ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to eat pork. Like, come on. But for things that are the most, like, the vaguest things ever, I think the whole, like, man shall not lie with another man is like a translation of a translation of a translation that's like a sentence long. But that's the one you got to be like, nah, like, that's in the
I
Bible,
get you.
you know?
No, I get you. Like, because the Bible says like there's a lot of things that people shouldn't do, and most people do all of them.
Yeah.
And but then they see the whole like gay people aren't allowed, and they're like, nah, we gotta follow that one.
Like that's come on. You're gonna make fun of my religion?
Yeah, it's just an excuse to like show your own prejudice against a certain group of people.
Yeah.
You know how they also say there's kind of like a religious psychosis thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I was also thinking about. I was like, I wonder what gets you to that point. And I'm always like, I wonder if like, because I can imagine that certain things happen because like you went through maybe like a near death experience or something.
Mhm.
And I think that's where like it just mentally like changes you.
Mhm.
And I was always like, damn, like I wonder if that's ever possible to happen to me, you know? Because I'm like,
No, it definitely is.
because I'm like,
I've thought about that.
to like what extent would I get to that level? And which it made me think of like
Yeah.
your question, like, would you guys still
Yeah.
like me if I was religious?
It's not that I wouldn't like you, but I'd raise an eyebrow. I'd be like, "Are you
Yeah.
alright?" Because I feel like that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
because what you're saying is like I've thought about that too. Like, what would drive me to religion? And it would have to be probably like like you and the rest of our family die like in a fucking plane
Yeah.
crash, and like I don't know, I just get super depressed, and I'm like, I drink and I do drugs. I do like hardcore drugs, you know, and then I find I guess solace in religion, and then I turn my life around. Because I mean, that's what happens. You can't deny that people turn their life around when they become
For
like
Yeah.
dedicated Christians. You know, I can't deny that it doesn't offer some people value, and
yeah.
I mean, I think because there's a lot of real world examples of that. So I mean, it's I wouldn't discourage and say like all people who are religious are bad, but I just think for me personally, it's kind of hard to think of myself making that jump
Yeah.
because I think there's the three of us have a lot of early childhood religious trauma that like it varies in severity. Maybe
Yeah.
not saying that we were like completely like traumatized the same way someone who had like a very I don't even want to say, but like SA experience.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't say my trauma is anywhere near that, but I do think that us growing up in such a very like strict setting of like that private school setting obviously affected us as we got older.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think me and Brandon talk about all the time how we have Catholic guilt, and we constantly see ourselves as bad people because I think we were raised in that thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You know what I learned though about like Catholic guilt that
What?
I saw is that
you're like, it's not real.
no, like to help people who have that is like, so the Catholic guilt, I mean, for some people it's like, well, a generalization of it, right, is good people go to heaven, bad people go to hell. This bad thing is sin. I'm a sinner. It's, original sin. Everybody's born bad, right? So somebody was saying that you can't just, if you're trying to get out of that, you can't just take like an aspect of the religion. If you're using an aspect of religion to justify like how you feel, then it's totally okay to use the rest of it to help get yourself out of it. You know what I mean? Where they're saying like, oh, if you feel like a bad person, well, the religion also says you can become forgiven and become a good person. So they're just saying like, for some people it works, for some people it doesn't. But sometimes like if you really need to get out of it, it's okay to use the rest of it to like help you out.
Yeah.
Like it's not fair to yourself to just be like, nah, this one part is true though, but the rest is bullshit.
It makes you think of atheism. You know what's funny? Do you guys remember when you guys were more religious, or were you guys always questioning like your connection to the Catholic Church? I only bring it up because I remember going to high school and meeting atheists and being like, oh my God,
Talking about the teacher?
I'm gonna go to hell. He's gonna go to hell. I'm just trying to save your soul. And I remember my classmates, even though not everybody came from a private school, I guess because we were so young, we were still kind of kids in our minds. Some of them even had like that same reaction of like, oh my God, like I would never not believe in God.
I think for me, I was always, because I always talk about I was always into dinosaurs, and the religion, I was a little weird about that. I don't think I was ever like, nah, like this is all fact. It was more just like, I don't know how you explain it. It's kind of like, I don't know. I was like, I mean, that's just the way things are, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I never really thought about it too deeply until I met other people who weren't really in it and didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of does like this inversion on you of like, oh wait, I'm the like that is normal. You get what I mean? Like I feel like in Catholic school, a lot of the stuff for me felt like, oh, everybody else, like everybody believes this. Like this is just how it is, But when I met people who were atheists or didn't believe or were a different religion, I was kind of like, oh wait, like, nah, that's just me. Like, there's completely different viewpoints, and it just, I guess the world just opened up.
Yeah,
if that makes sense,
Yeah, I think I agree that the world opens up, but I just think there was like this initial fear that I had when it first opened up.
For sure.
Because I was like, what the fuck?
For sure.
Especially because like I guess like as a I don't know. Wait, whoa, I was about to say Hispanic. Gross.
Well, also for me, I don't know if it was always like that, and then I just got older, and I was able to notice it more. But I feel like as I got older, the religion started to become kind of weird for me. Like I remember as a kid, I don't remember them ever saying anything about gay people or like premarital sex or stuff like that. Like personally,
Yeah.
I don't have any memories of them talking about that. Maybe that was just my class or I just got lucky. But it wasn't until like 7th, 8th grade into confirmation when they really started to like bring that up. And I was like, oh shit, they do talk about that. But I don't know if that was like a cultural shift, like something happened and then they brought that back.
Yeah.
If I just got older and
You
I noticed
aware?
it more and
Yeah.
I was aware of it, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if that was always there and I was a kid and I just didn't, it just went over my head, you know? So,
No, 100%. You know what's funny? You know what opened me up to more criticism towards the Catholic faith when I was a kid was Family Guy.
yeah.
Because I remember Family Guy always made fun of Catholicism.
Yeah.
Because Seth MacFarlane, I think, was a Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And so he felt like he could, if anybody could make fun of him, it was a Irish Catholic.
Catholic, yeah.
Yeah. So if you watch Family Guy, there's a lot of like interesting imagery of the Catholic faith. And that's what opened me to be like, oh, it could be funny, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have to be afraid and think I'm going to go to hell.
Yeah.
But that's definitely the opinion you get when you're raised like in a Mexican household or just a Mexican community. Because I think like a lot of people are super religious who are Mexicans, which is interesting, which is really interesting.
Because did that happen for you guys? Was it always kind of problematic? Like, do you have memories of them saying weird stuff when you were a kid, or was it like me, where when you got older, it suddenly started to like pepper in a little more?
Jill, what do you think?
I don't know. I feel like my experience was really different because I
Yeah.
feel like there was a teacher in
Yeah.
Catholic school that everybody thought was gay. And I feel like there was like this, always like this thing of like everybody knew, but nobody was fully bothered by it.
Nobody wanted to say.
Yeah. Or nobody said it, but it was just like it was there.
Yeah.
At least that's my own experience.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably misread the whole entire
No,
thing.
that's valid. That's valid.
But I feel like I think there was always that because I think my teacher, like my 8th grade teacher, they were besties. So
Oh, I know
I
what you're
felt
talking about,
like
yeah.
I felt like she knew, but she didn't care. But it was weird because I think the one thing for me, it wasn't like gay stuff, like the gay and like
Yeah.
the gay,
Yeah.
you know, the gay like stuff in
Aura?
religion. For me, it was more about sex and
Yeah.
religion. For me, I think I heard more about like, oh, you shouldn't be having sex because you're not married.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was weird because I always felt like this vibe of like, you guys say this, but I feel like you guys don't follow it.
Like some of them would have kids and not be married.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, but that's why I say my experience was different in certain things. Like I
Yeah.
feel like
No, that's valid.
nothing was really like spoken about, but there was just hints of things and like just like I call them vibes.
Yeah.
So like there was
Yeah.
just like things of that I don't know that just didn't make sense sometimes where it was just like because I think the whole thing with like is that the right word? I feel
Wait,
like
what?
I'm saying gay and religion, but like being
In the LGBT
in
community.
the LGBTQ
Yeah.
I think it's
community.
not- I
It's
think you
not
could say
hard,
gay.
but
You could say gay.
Yeah,
but
I
like
get what you mean, yeah.
but like being in that community and then religion, I felt like I never saw that it was wrong
Yeah.
or it was never like told to me that it was wrong, but I felt like it was something you just didn't talk about though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for us for sure it was more of like sex and like getting married
Yeah.
and stuff like, oh, women, like the girls, you should get married and then like have
Yeah.
sex. I think those were the things that I would hear most about.
Yeah.
That makes
Um,
sense. You're a woman.
But I never. But I feel like if I think about it more, because I feel like as you guys were talking, I generally was trying to remember stuff, and I feel like I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Like feeling that guilt. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember ever being like, oh, if I do this bad thing, I'm gonna go to hell. Like I never had that at least for me, I never had that in mind.
Maybe
I
it's a
think
male thing,
I,
a men thing.
I don't know.
I just remember when the times when they would say stuff, I always got this like kind of unnerved feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like when the people were talking, you could just feel like they had like an animosity, you know, where I don't know, maybe I got lucky or maybe I just need more time to like process it. But I feel like there was a lot of people in that school who were in charge of the kids who I'm like, I feel like you're kind of cruel and you're kind of like not an amazing person, you know? And for you to sit here and like talk about all these communities or what I'm going to do, I was always kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Because I remember learning that kids are insanely good at reading the room. Like they may not know how to articulate what they're feeling or explain what they're feeling, but kids can read the room like a book. Like that's just how they know how to do anything. And I remember with a lot of things, like you said, there's always like vibes where I was like, I don't know. I didn't like it. You know what I mean?
But I feel like at least to me growing up as well, I think I had a different relationship of like the religion that I had at home and then the religion I had in school. Because I feel like the religion in school felt very different and I didn't feel connected to it at all. But the religion at home, I felt like I was more connected to. Like how I said, like, and we've talked about it on here, where I felt more connected with La Virgen de Guadalupe, right? Like I don't know.
And when we would go to Mexico, we would go to the church.
Yeah, we would go to the church and we would only praise La Virgen, which like over there, because of where it's from, they call it La Virgen de la Soledad. Yeah. So it's like they each have their own Virgin Mary. And I felt like I had a different religion. And I think it's also, my parents weren't super strict on us being religious. Yeah. Like it's around the house. Like it's everywhere. But it was never like, oh, we should go to church like every single Sunday, or oh, we should pray like during dinner or like something, or oh, like if you do this, like go pray in your room or something. Yeah. Like it was never that. You know what's strict. Weird? Yeah. But but at least for me in my own experience, it was always still there. But in school is where I felt like the disconnect, where I was just like, I mostly dreaded it the whole entire time in school, because I was just like, I felt like there it was being pushed on a lot more, like especially when we had to go to mass every single Friday morning, and like mass was just very like boring to me, and so like I think in school it was so different in that aspect. But like I don't know, I think I have like this interesting relationship with religion where like there's some things that I respect and honor for myself, but I think that's because I just grew up with it, but more because of my Mexican household, not because of like school.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wanted to say that the Mexican Catholicism and American Catholicism are not the same. Yeah. I feel like growing up in a Catholic household in Mexican and then going to a Catholic American school, you really get to see a stark difference. And this isn't me trying to really like rationalize and forgive any of the crimes that Catholicism does in the Mexican community, because it does a lot of negative shit too. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I think when you grow up with those two clashing, you really see the difference. It feels like this American institutionalized like Catholicism is very strict and very like I don't want to say hateful, because that seems like it's cruel. Yeah, it's very cruel.
No, well, I get you, because I think for me as a kid, I think what got me by, or why I kind of I feel like I got lucky, is my dad hates the church. And I feel like for me, my household, it wasn't that they were ever against the religion. They were specifically against the church, like the system of the church, where my dad would be like, nah, like they're super sadistic. And then he'd tell me like when he was a kid, the nuns could beat you, and they would. And he was like, they were super sadistic, like they enjoyed it. Yeah. And then growing up, I remember they'd always be like rude to my little sister. And I think kind of having that, I was like, I feel like I just hate the church. Like, I don't like, I mean, I have my like
grievances
like with the religion, but I don't think having religion in itself is, I don't know. I don't really care. For me, my grievances with that are more like philosophical. Like I just have questions. I want to learn. I think it's curious. But the church itself, like the system, I think I don't know. To me, I feel like it's a scum-infested system. Yeah, that I can't stand. Because I remember one time at that church, they had that guy who, I think his name's Cardinal Roger Mahoney. Phony Baloney or whatever. Phony Mahoney is what they call him.
Phony Mahoney.
Yeah, because he's the one who covered up all the priests molesting kids. And I remember they had him do a church, like a sermon at the church. And I remember as a kid being like, that isn't that weird? And the church was packed. Everybody was like, oh my God, it's such an honor. And I was like, really? Meet him. Really? It's an honor? And they wanted to do a children's liturgy for that. Yeah. Like, you know? And I'm like, I don't know. That's
No, yeah, I think the biggest problem comes from the faith, and no. The biggest problem comes from the people practicing the faith and the faith itself. It feels like the people who actually are are like doing these negative things are the ones who end up giving it kind of like a bad name. And I mean, I'm not excusing anything that like any people who have religious trauma,
yeah.
but I just mean like it feels like if I personally have a problem with when people practice religion, it's mainly because of the way that people approach the religion and less about the religion in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I really just can't stand the system, you know? Like what did the Pope said something recently? He said something about how he thinks Trump and Kamala are both murderers, and he was saying that he thinks Trump is bad because he doesn't want to do anything about guns, but he thinks Kamala is just as bad because she supports abortion. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just a lot about that I'm like, this guy influences most of the people. Because isn't Catholicism the biggest religion? I don't know. I can't.
No, I mean it's like that video I sent you today, right? About, shout out to Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning,
fellow podcasters.
Yeah, fellow podcasters. They were talking about because they used to be super religious and they're both not anymore. I think Rhett, right?
Yeah, he's the beard.
Yeah. Rhett was saying that he feels like the reason why there's such a big influx of the youth leaving religion is because a lot of them learn, like the church does such a good job of teaching you what's in the Bible, and once you read what's in the Bible, you realize that the church as a system is wrong and wrongfully hurting people and spreading hate and spreading like a lot of negative and abusive practices towards a generalized people. And so that's what he was saying was his own personal theory. He was saying that he feels like the reason why young people are leaving religion in droves is because when they learn the Bible, they realize that the church is nothing like the Bible preaches.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I could see that being a reason. For me, I just think that in older generations or in older times, it's easier to like, and I think the church runs a lot on fear mongering. I mean, Catholic guilt is fear mongering. I mean, it's like, you're going to go to hell if you do this, right? That makes you afraid. I think it's easier to fear monger when a lot of the world is uneducated. And I say uneducated, not necessarily specifically talking about school, but I mean, like, if you're like in the 20s and they're demonizing this one group of people, there's a very high chance you're never even going to meet those people. So it's a lot easier to be made afraid.
I get that.
But now that we live in the age of information and this church is saying, oh, be afraid of gay people, I've seen gay people on my TikTok, you know, like I can interact with that community. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they're just regular people. What are you talking about? Like, there's no difference. And I think because of the age of information, it's a lot harder to fearmonger, which is why I think they're so like, oh, well, TikTok and like the stuff you see on TV, it's satanic because they're trying to get a hold of it. But you see people like on TV who are a bit more sexually explicit. And you see that and you're like, well, they're doing it. Why is it wrong if I do it? You know, that's why I think they feel the need to be like, oh, it's because it's like a satanic ritual. It's because it's this and this and that. And I think because of that, they lose their grip on, I think fear is how they keep their grip on people, you know?
Yeah, you're right. That's funny because it goes into my point of how like Mexican Catholicism and American Catholicism are really different. Because like I think the rules in Mexican Catholicism are a lot more loose and lax. Like in the sense that like you'll see people get fucked up like on a Saturday because Mexicans love to party and then still wake up early to go to church. And like at least in the American side of things, it seems as though the rules are a lot more strict where it's like you basically have to be Puritan, where it's like, no, you don't, what, like sexual promiscuity is so fucking bad. But then you see in Mexico, like the bailes, people are fucking grinding on each other and shit. And I guess in a funny way, I think that's why, like, Julie, you said you had that disconnect with when you did go to American Catholic Church. Because I think it feels just more like, damn, like they really, really are like, they have these set of rules that they go by. That isn't, a lot of them aren't even in the book. Yeah. And you can't say we haven't read the Bible because we've probably read the Bible more times than
the average Catholic.
Than I've ever read any other book, honestly. I've read the fucking Bible more times than I've ever read any other fucking book.
I agree. And I think that's why there's like an influx in people being like, oh, the nuclear family traditions are dying, this and that. It's, to me, it feels like the death throes, you know, of the church, or I guess more conservative religious viewpoints, trying to like, no, like be afraid,
Yeah.
you know. But I think the age of information is kind of really killing it, you know.
But we're also reaching a new age, bro.
Of
The age of
disinformation.
disinformation.
Yeah, and I'll get to that.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. But right now, let's hear some information facts from Julyssa. Jude, that's like the first time I've said your full name in
I
like
know.
like 17 years.
For real.
Real.
So this is just a little cute fun fact. So studies say couples who make fun of each other have happier relationships. So a study suggests that couples who engage in playful teasing and making fun of each other in a lighthearted way often report higher levels of relationship satisfaction and happiness. This kind of humor tends to create a bond between partners, allowing them to navigate conflicts and stressful situations. It's often seen as a sign of emotional closeness and comfort within the relationship.
Wow.
I was going to say religion for a sec.
Yeah.
It's too on the mind right now, bro.
So the key factor, though, is the mutual understanding and trust between partners. The humor needs to be playful, not hurtful.
Yeah.
And both partners should feel respected. Couples who can laugh together and not take themselves too seriously are better equipped to handle challenges and maintain a positive dynamic.
I like that emphasis that you put in. Like, it has to be lighthearted, or like, you know, because I think people can just be mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even
I'm just fucking around, bro. Why you getting butthurt, you know?
Yeah.
like it's a joke, but
Yeah.
it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Or I think some people can like joke and then it becomes very offensive to their partner.
yeah.
Like, you know that there's like certain things that are
There's
sensitive
boundaries.
to them,
Yeah.
and you kind of like poke at them and make fun of them for it.
yeah.
And I think that's what it's saying not to do. Of
Yeah.
like, you can be playful with them. I was
Yeah.
reading more into it about like the study and stuff, and they were saying that it's also cool when like there is that thing where people are like, oh, I want to find somebody who has sense of humor, but it's more what the study is more about is more of you guys having like inside jokes, like creating your own humor together.
Mhm.
And that's what kind of creates more of your closeness of like being able to laugh together and then having your own inside, you know, jokes and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. You see, jokes are like religion. You
Bruh.
no matter no matter your religion, as long as you respect people, you're cool in my book. So no matter the jokes you make, as long as it's respectful, you're cool in my book, right? Does that make sense? Did
Yeah.
that analogy work for you guys?
Sure.
Sure.
I also think that relates even beyond romantic relationships. I think as your friends, I could see that being true too. You know, like the closer
Yeah.
you are, if you can like poke fun at each other, have like a little bit of a roast with your friends, I think that shows you guys know each other very intimately, because it means you guys' guard is down, and even with the guard down, you know, you feel completely comfortable with somebody taking some small jabs. But then if it becomes like, that's where your fucking dad left, you know, like it's like,
Yeah.
damn, bro, like, why'd you have to bring that up right now? We're at the
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
you know, like then that's when it becomes fucked up.
They were also saying that sense of humor makes a person more attractive.
That's true. I've heard that your sense of humor apparently is very tied to your intelligence. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
I read there was a study done that apparently people who are of a high intelligence are more likely to like and laugh at lowbrow humor and highbrow humor, but have a strong distaste for middle brow humor, because they feel as though it tries too hard to reach like a general audience. And I hear that lowbrow humor for people with lower intelligence is like the funniest shit ever, and that's exclusively what they only like.
Oh, like
Have you heard this?
Tuah?
Yeah. It's so funny because I thought about off camera. Me and Brandon really like the Huck Tuah memes,
Yeah.
and Julie doesn't like them, and she's always like, "That's so lowbrow."
Yeah.
But you see, a study literally came out that says people who have high intelligence like lowbrow humor. So
Oh,
ha ha ha.
So I have
Ha,
a little
ha, ha,
brain,
ha.
not you guys.
Yeah. How does it feel, Julie?
Hey, I didn't say that. I think for me, I believe it. I believe it. But I think some people see that and they're like, oh, see, I'm so smart.
Almost.
I watch Rick
Mm.
and Morty. Like, you know? I'm like, yeah, okay, man. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm
Yes,
such an
baby.
intelligent person.
You know?
I don't watch Rick and Morty. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Justin
But
Roiland ruined it for me.
That's my thing with that is people who hear that are like, oh,
You see, I'm smart as fuck.
see,
Yeah.
I'm smart as fuck. I'm like,
You
are
call me dumb for laughing at dumb shit, but I'm actually smart. 'Cause smart people like laughing at dumb
I like
shit.
Rick and Morty. I like rigor mortis.
I think, yeah. What really got me though is the high intelligence not liking medium. I guess like middle brow humor.
What's an example of that though?
I guess it's like, you know, when the Quan memes. You know, when it's like,
Oh, the Quan memes.
yeah,
Like,
you know how the Quan memes are very like, it's obvious, or like Twitter. You know how people are just trying to get a paycheck.
oh, it's trying to
They're-
be general.
Yeah. I think that's what middle brow is where like it's fun. It has humor. Like it's
Yeah.
made with the intention of humor.
It's not too deep where you really have to think, but it's not too like, huh? Where
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, yeah. I get
yeah.
you.
Because you know how you could, I guess, using Hawk Tuah as a lowbrow humor. That's lowbrow, right? Because not a lot of effort. It's dumb. There's not like catharsis, irony. What else do people want in a joke? Fucking punchline.
Political commentary.
Political commentary.
Yeah.
You know,
Do
so
you-
it's lowbrow.
Do you think when she did that, do you think it was purposeful or do you think that it was
Ooh.
staged?
Haktua?
Yeah, like that specific thing.
Staged? Why? What's the
I
theory
don't
behind that?
I don't think it's staged. I think she was just having a laugh. But I've seen the guy who
Interviewed her?
He does not like the meme because she blew up and he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody talks about that. Imagine,
Well,
imagine
yeah.
fucking. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
No, well, no, because like there's, you know how people do a lot of those street interviews, or like
Yeah.
they do a lot of those like pranks and
Yeah.
stuff,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are fake, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, do you think that this one specifically was kind of something like that,
No.
where it was like, but I'm not saying that she was doing it to like, how do I explain this better? Like I'm not saying
be
that
famous?
to just be like funny and dumb, like purposefully. Like she was trying to, she was genuinely trying to like make laughs and like, I don't know how to explain it actually, but I don't know. It was just like, it feels, I'm just saying, like, do you guys think it was kind of like stage, or do you think she generally, it was like, this is actually her personality?
I
Like,
think that's actually her
I think
personality.
it's her personality. I've seen Talk to Her clips, and it seems like she's like that. You know.
Yeah.
Her name is Haley Welch, right?
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
like-
everybody calls her the Hawk Tuah girl,
I feel
though.
like that's kind of mean to just call her that.
The Hawk Tuah?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what she's
is it
known
mean?
for, though.
It's
Yeah,
what she's
I don't know
known
if it's
for,
mean.
but I'd be like, well, just say my name. Because I've
Mean.
seen so many memes of it being like, isn't it so funny that we just call her Talk to Her or Hawk to Her? Like, all right, bro. I don't know. I don't like bullies. I feel like that's just mean. I feel like after a while, I'm like, all right, lay off. All right, come on, that's a little mean.
No, not
But I
the
don't know.
not the Talk Tuah.
I don't
Ride or die.
I don't like bullies, bro. I don't care. That's why I always stand up for furries. I feel like, all right, bro, I get it.
Bro, she's our rival. She has a podcast. We have to have a
maybe
fun
we can
rivalry.
collab. Maybe we can collab.
Maybe.
Talk to a chick.
Her first episode has 1.5 million views. I wonder what her streaming has.
I think her. If you look at like the podcast review, she has like 9.8 stars because everybody just like
Because it's a meme, it's a trend. I literally see it on my For You page all the time where it's like, talk to a. I'm gonna read you some of the comments from her fucking, from her oops.
podcast.
Yeah, let me read you some of these comments. This is the first thing. I was the first top comment, 24K likes. I was a miserable alcoholic until I discovered the Talk to a podcast. Second comment, 30K likes. Yo, bro, Talk to is on. For 12K comments, I'm a 41-year-old surgeon. Mid-operation, I got an important message that the Talk to podcast was released. I dropped everything and rushed home immediately. Thank you for saving my life, Talk to. And it's just
But
leagues
you're
and leagues.
saying that's a trend?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
It's a
there's memes
meme.
on it everywhere, like on Instagram Reels, on TikTok. It'll be like Talk to Save My Life, and it'll have like 100K likes and
I
shit.
like the Blade Runner one. Did they teach you how to spit on that thing? Hawk to her.
Yeah, and I was telling Brian, I think it's mind blowing
Yeah.
because she never has to spend money on advertising ever again. Because everybody just it's a meme, it's a trend of
Do
people
you-
just
do you think-
saying like Talk to changed my life.
Do you think she's like a? Do you think like once this eventually peters out, it's done, or do you think she has the?
I think she's got aura now, bro.
She's
I don't
got
think so.
aura?
I think she's probably famous for life now.
You think so?
Yeah,
You think so,
I-
Julie?
I don't know. Is her show good?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I just see
I
people
thought you were
liking
a
it.
fan.
I think the memes are really funny. I don't know. I really find them
To
funny.
me,
actually.
it sounds so. What they're doing is they're trying to see who's funnier in the comments, or
No, it's just like a joke.
It's just a joke. It's like,
a joke of like the joke is that it's obviously like
So
it's
obscure.
it's really obscure and dumb like Hawk Tuah, but the joke is they're making it seem like it's
it's
brilliant,
world
it's
changing.
genius,
Yeah.
it's world changing.
Yeah.
So everybody in the comments is being like, "This changed my life,"
Yeah.
but like Hawk Tuah,
Obviously, it's
like,
just
come
Hawk
on.
Tuah.
Yeah,
Like it's
Okay.
simple, right?
It's
Got it.
done,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the joke in and of itself is that it's making something seem that's so simple, sophisticated, right, and deep.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like it's really caught on. So in a
Yeah.
weird way, it has become a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is I guess to me very intriguing is that I think it's so funny that in the effort of making fun of this podcast, people have just made it even more famous, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody was like, she's probably on a podcast
That's why they
off
say
of her Hawk Tuah viral video.
why
It's
they
not
say-
going to be successful, even though it has 1.5 million views in just 2 weeks.
That's why I say all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
come on, bro, say something controversial
So-
right now.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't be thinking controversial things, bro.
Liar.
I think you should start saying like those funny names more often on
What
the show.
funny names? Like cochinos?
Yeah.
Oh.
Give me a Hawk Tuah right now, bro.
I wouldn't disrespect that.
I wouldn't disrespect her.
That's too far, man.
That's her thing.
Relax, man.
Okay, my bad. But back to the love fun facts, Julie. Was that all you
How
had?
did we start talking
Yeah.
about Hawk Tuah?
How did we?
Oh,
start
because
talking?
the little brain or
Oh yeah, because you made fun of us for loving this life changing
Little brain.
podcast.
But it's a slippery slope because it's like the people who think it's funny at face value, like who are like Netflix and Hawk Tuah, like shit like that. I think that's middlebrow humor, you know. But the
What?
people you
The
haven't seen
what?
those, the people who like sell her merch at Trump rallies, who are like
who are like, if she doesn't Hawk Tuah, I don't want to talk to her.
yeah, like the people who take it seriously, like at face value.
Okay.
I don't think those ones are funny. But
Okay.
the people who
Or
pretend
in on the joke.
who pretend to take it seriously, I think those ones are funny. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a difference between somebody laughing with Hawk Tuah and
Mhm.
someone laughing at Hawk Tuah.
Brilliant. That's a great way to put
Thank
it.
you.
Are you
My
so
Hawk
are-
Tuah
so
was
are-
hot take.
So are you guys laughing?
I'm laughing.
I'm laughing with.
I don't know anymore.
It's so, bro, why did it get so deep?
I don't know anymore.
Why
But
does
that's-
Hawk
but
Tuah?
that's what I'm
How did
asking-
she do it? The mastermind.
That's what I'm
What a
asking.
genius.
That's what I'm asking you guys. Like, what is?
It's taking
But
over
is
the
it-
country.
But is it her who did it, or is it the people who did it for her?
I mean, in part, she did it right. Like at first, it was her,
Yeah.
and then I feel like people came and hijacked the meme.
Yeah.
You know, so
But
get a-
mean,
I
she
get a
is.
little-
But she is the one who's benefiting either way. But like,
yeah. Either way,
But-
she's
Yeah.
winning.
I don't really have a problem with her benefiting. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like
I actually
I'm
like.
not saying it's a problem,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah, I get you.
like what made her big is everything else. No?
she's charismatic.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
she's
is.
charismatic.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I'm that. Like, I don't think
She's
I'm
an
that charismatic.
opportunist.
Yeah,
She knows
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
market herself.
yeah. So I'm gonna make a check.
Yeah.
you know?
If anything, I find a little bit of satisfaction in her success in the sense of like everybody's like, how?
Because it's proof is you only need one.
Yeah, you
You
only
just
need
need
one
one, you
viral.
know?
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, we gotta start being more like I don't know, do some. But sex sells because Hawk Tuah is just like a sexual innuendo.
Yeah, I think that's for me where I don't find it like that funny. When people are like, "Oh my God, more girls need to be like this," I don't really find that funny. But I do find funny when they say shit like,
I didn't even know that was a combo.
like Hulk Tuah. Yeah, that's.
Have
pretty
you
funny.
seen when people subliminally put it into their posts?
Yeah.
So like, I'll give you an example. So recently, to give you some context, recently Mortal Kombat had a newest game that released this year, and they added a free update in the beginning of this month where they gave every character
Bestialities
a finisher move where they turn into an animal.
called.
And so
animalities.
somebody quote tweeted that trailer and was like, "Wow, I love that all the characters can transform into animals. They can go from a hawk to a squirrel." and it'll go viral on Twitter. And people will be like, "Wait, say that again?"
Yeah. The bestialities, the animalities, my fault.
but yeah, that's enough.
Hawk Tuah.
That's enough talk.
That's enough
Tuah.
Hawk Tuah.
Bro,
They're
everybody's
they're
gonna fucking hate this
They're
episode.
gonna.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
People feel very strongly about her.
She's gonna send us a cease and desist because we
We were glazing. What do you
What?
mean?
For what? For promoting her?
I know.
All right, whatever.
Hey,
Yeah.
if you want to come on the show,
Yeah, but audience members, I know.
Brandon's a big fan.
I know not everybody likes it.
Hawk Tuah.
Not everybody likes it, but I guess.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That's funny how talking about relationships. Well, I guess it's
We went from religion.
Well, I guess it's humor,
Talk
right? We were
to
talking about humor. That's why. So I guess it makes sense why it went that way.
Don't ever say a podcast doesn't have range. Don't ever say we stay to one topic. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Diddy because we've never.
Why is that funny?
I guess because like
The
look at these
transition
topics.
is crazy.
Why is that funny?
Because
The transition is just crazy.
don't guilt trip me. I was actually gonna rant about how people don't take it seriously.
I took it seriously.
Did you?
What did I do?
Did he?
Say that again.
Did you?
All right, I gotta cut. Diddy. I gotta cut that out.
What?
All right, just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wanted to talk about it because we haven't talked about it. And it's I don't know, is it right up our alley? I don't know if it is, but it's definitely a hot topic that's taking over America right now. I did a deep dive last night, guys. For some reason, what did I see? I know maybe the Vince documentary that came out.
Oh, was it that thing? Oh, never mind.
What? I forgot. What was it? I completely forgot. But they showed like a picture of Kamala Harris with. I think it was a photo. I remember.
The AI photo of her with
Yeah,
him?
have you seen? There's a fake photo of Kamala Harris with Diddy. It's
Yeah.
fake though. It's not real.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, are they like on a red carpet or something?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. It's,
Also, it's not real?
It's not
no.
real.
It's some other guy. I forgot what his name is, but
Yeah.
it was like an old ex of Kamala Harris. But anyways,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but I thought it was funny because I went into the replies and there was like a big conservative Twitter user that was like, "Oh my god, like this is so terrible. I can't believe they're trying to put someone in office who's associated with someone like this." And then someone replied to them and was like, "This is a fake picture," and they put the proof. And then they were like, "But these are real," and it's a picture of Trump with Epstein and Trump with Diddy, like actual real pictures.
Damn.
And I thought that was so fucking funny. And I was like, you know what? Despite how everybody's talking about the Diddy thing, I have yet to do actual research on it. So fuck it, let me do some research on it. And I spent no bullshit like 4 hours just going into like Diddy from the 90s all the way to present day and like what he's been up to. And it's kind of insane because people have rumored that Diddy killed Tupac for a while now.
Yeah.
But it now that I did the research, if anyone had anything to gain from the death of Tupac, it was Diddy, Diddy Combs. And I guess I'll start by explaining that. So in the 90s, for those of you who didn't know, there was a big pop culture phenomenon where it was the East versus the West Coast of rappers. With at the forefront was Tupac for the West Coast and Biggie for the East Coast. Famously, Biggie's his producer and the one who owned the rights to his music was P Diddy, Sean Combs. And at the time, so apparently Diddy had this like fixation with Tupac. Tupac famously had this ex that he was like touring with, that was like his lover, and he broke up with. And when he broke up with her, Diddy got with her. And Diddy's first child that he ever had is with that woman because Diddy had a love, like he idolized Tupac. And when Tupac came out and started wearing Gucci wear, then Diddy started coming out and wearing Gucci wear. He had this weird kind of like obsession, which now some people might read into and be like was maybe like a lover obsession with Tupac. For whatever reason, he was absolutely obsessed with him, and he modeled Biggie to be like him. And eventually, when they started beefing and having more of that animosity, so a security guard went on an interview apparently like a decade ago. I watched the interview, and he said that he was so pissed at the fact that Tupac was selling more than Biggie that he went on this rant and this tirade about how like I don't care if it takes he literally said, I don't care if it takes the death of Tupac or the death of Biggie, but somehow or some way I'm gonna come out on top of this. And the security guy was like, I can't believe he just said that. Like he knows he's talking about his own rapper, like the wellness of people who are under his belt. And people basically construed the death of Biggie and Tupac as basically this big like chess masterpiece of Sean Combs, Diddy, right? And apparently like it that's where he first got into racketeering and organized crime, because he really wanted to pull off this story of it was just these two guys who hated each other, and they were just so deep in this gangster culture that they took each other's lives. I mean, really, it was all orchestrated by Diddy Combs. If you read into the interviews of what people were saying at the time and what people have said since then, and it's so weird to me because the more you read into it, the more you realize that it's such an open secret in the industry that Diddy was this big giant weirdo. I mean, 50 Cent famously has always he stood on business.
Yeah.
He's always said like Diddy was a fucking weirdo. He always tried to like basically like touch him and like act real friendly when he wasn't friends with him. And so
Wait, who said that?
50 Cent.
Okay.
50 Cent. Yeah, he famously has always been like against Diddy. He's producing the Netflix documentary against Diddy. But bro, like there's like so many documents of girlfriends that Diddy had where they have said that he would have these giant lavish parties that were just a front for orgies. Like that's it's been documented for more than a decade, and only recently now did it become a radar, like a blimp on it, was because a girlfriend had sued him in 2021, I want to say, because of a new law that New York enacted, where between the year of I think February 2021 to March of 2022, they got rid of the statute of limitations. Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
The statute of limitations is basically you can't sue or prosecute someone if a certain time frame has passed. So if God forbid, like you were SA'd like 20 years ago, you can't sue because it's been that long ago. But the New York passed a new act, I think in 2021, that said that for this amount of time gap, you could sue anybody if you feel like they committed a crime against you. And so when that act got passed, immediately a famous girlfriend that Diddy had sued him, and within 24 hours, Diddy settled it. It wasn't known for how much, but for an undisclosed amount of money. But because of that settlement, it went viral overnight. And within, I think, 2 weeks, 5 more women issued a lawsuit to Diddy. And it only happened because New York passed that law. If it hadn't been for that, Diddy could have still been running around right now. And in that lawsuit that a bunch of people put against Diddy, they described that he has like a prostitution ring where he prostitutes girls. And that's what caught the eye of the FBI. That's why the FBI even got involved, was because of that initial lawsuit.
Because he was trafficking, right?
Yeah. And the FBI takes racketeering very seriously.
Yeah.
So then that's where a couple years later, that's why they raided his house. And what was weird, and that what a lot of people bring up, is that Diddy's almost like unaware of kind of like the evil nature of his crimes. I mean, that's what 50 Cent has always said. He says like what he thinks is mind blowing is that he doesn't notice, like he's not self-aware of like who he is and what he does. And I guess like I bring it up because it's so like mind-blowing that there's like an open secret of celebrities abusing regular people. Like I like that's what I feel for the most, is that these artists and apparently these role models and these people in power are just taking advantage of the regular everyday Joe.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and I get they're not politicians, but the fact that doesn't push more people to just at least like, I don't know, ask for change, or like, I don't know, even just lose their shit, you know? Like people don't go up in arms is insane to me. You know, Cuba, what's his name?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, have you heard about him?
I've seen him on Joe Rogan saying 1 + 1 isn't 2.
Bro, Cuba Gooding Jr. is listed in the lawsuit, and
really?
yeah, that a male security guard, said that he was basically being groomed by Diddy, and that he asked him to be security guard for Good Cuba Jr., and that they were as soon as Diddy left, Good Cuba Jr. assaulted him, like SA'd him.
Sorry, I mixed up the
What?
actors. I was referring to Terrence Howard, not Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think it's Cuba Gooding Jr.
No,
right?
yeah, but I'm sorry to Terrence Howard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah,
the guy from Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, he's also in he plays OJ.
Yeah, he plays OJ.
Yeah. I guess he was a little too good in his role.
Yeah.
But in the lawsuit, he gets named as one of the actors who just straight up assault someone.
Who? Okay.
participated.
No, not participated in the
But
what they call freak offs.
He was just
Yeah.
in the vicinity.
No. What? I guess the reason I'm hesitant to say it because I don't want to get demonetized and say it.
Allegedly.
But
It's
allegedly,
yeah.
in the document, it goes in detail that he basically like touched him in the security guard in his privates, and that he forced him to basically give him like oral, like full of like not like oh he was just being weird and touching
Yeah.
him. No, straight up like essaying this security guard, and that the security guard says that Diddy knew full and well what happened and what was gonna happen to him. But he just let it happen because and that's what prompted the security guard to think like, wait, if this happened to me, I wonder what other celebrities that Diddy is associated with, the same thing happened to them. And that's what prompted me to be like, it isn't just about Diddy. It's about the fact that there's a whole industry of stars and people out there that the general public is inspired by and loves that are actually heinous and evil fucking people.
Yeah.
And I know that's been a conspiracy for a long, long time. But when you look into the Diddy things, there's physical evidence, there's personal accounts, there's interviews where people say the exact same
have been
things.
saying.
Yeah, and it's been happening since the fucking 90s. And it's just insane that the only reason it happened now was because of a lawsuit, because New York passed a law, an act. It's actually an act. I think it's called, no, I don't know. It was called something act. Yeah, New York, I don't know what to even look up.
New York statute of
Act.
limitations law.
That's crazy though,
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
because it's like a lot of them are
Scary.
celebrities who are just very much, like over. What is it like? They're abusing their power of like their status of being a celebrity.
Power corrupts, right?
Yeah, which I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
pretty crazy.
It's called the Adult Survivors Act. Yeah, and if it wasn't for that, yeah, look, it gives people of abuse a 1 year window to file a suit. If it wasn't for that, the FBI wouldn't have even been like caught under like the fact that this guy basically has a crime ring, like he has organized crime,
Yeah.
and he's a powerful man who's abusing normal people, like.
And- yeah. No, I was gonna say, I was like, I also feel like, I guess it's also very powerful for the women who stepped up
For
to say
sure.
something, especially like during this time, because I think I can imagine that there was some hesitance to it, where it's like, knowing who
He
these
is,
people
yeah.
are, and like knowing how big that they are, and knowing just like the status of when you come out and you talk about,
Yeah.
being abused, and like people don't take it serious, or
Yeah,
people
they
think
don't.
that you're lying. And I think that's more what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking more of a power to the people who are like standing up for themselves.
Yeah. Shout out
'Cause,
to the
like,
women too.
because I also feel like how you keep like kind of saying and mentioning that if it wasn't for, New York doing this, right? New York?
Yeah,
Is it?
New York.
Yeah, New York doing this, that she wouldn't have this opportunity. But I think it's also like knowing that it's only like it's a year, no? That
Yeah, it's only
that's
a year.
open.
Yeah.
And knowing that she had that opportunity and she took it.
She took
is
it right
very,
away.
Is very courageous.
Yeah.
Especially, no, you're right. It's. I'm sure it's intimidating for a lot of reasons. For one, Diddy's a scary person.
Yeah.
In terms of like what I've heard that he's done. He tried to blow up Kid Cudi's car
Yeah.
and kill Kid Cudi, which I.
Is
probably
that true?
Yeah,
It is true.
That is
Okay.
true.
It
That is
was
true.
it's part of the research that I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it's alleged he killed Tupac, right? So it's not like this is just some average. I mean, it's already scary, but like he's got power and
Yeah.
he's not afraid to use it, right? It's scary for the fact that the way the general public reacts, I think the way the general public reacts is really sad and
That's what I was
disturbing,
gonna go into.
because
yeah.
I think a lot of times the general public, the attitude is, oh, they just do it for money. Like it's a lie. Like they just do it for money. They had all this time to say something, and it
Yeah.
took this long. And I think that's so sad, backwards, and just generally disturbing.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, you're talking about something that
It's
you've never
pretty-
it's you've never gone through, so
Yeah.
you don't know what it's like to probably be faced with that,
Experience it.
and not only experience it, the mental anguish you go through, like
Yeah.
nobody believes you, and it's up against these insanely powerful people.
Yeah.
Like he's a millionaire,
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, that's why I mean, if you see stuff like that, you got to speak up on it, and I don't mean that in a like oh, do it or you're a bad person, but I mean like if you have been a victim of that, or you see people being a victim of that, it's important to you know, you expose these people because these are heinous and evil people. And I also wanted to add an asterisk to the shouting out to the women, but because there's one of the things that I learned that was very important to also be aware of is that it isn't just women who are
Yeah.
victims. There's a lot of men
Yeah.
Yeah.
who have been abused and are victims of fucking Sean Combs, bro.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's what one of the lawyers was, because I watched like a video of a lawyer breaking it down, and that was cool because he knows all
law,
about the
right?
law, and he was saying is like, yeah, that's one thing that I guess the people seem to be missing out on a little bit, is like that there's a lot of men who have been victims of this guy, and so shout out to even you too, because that's even more of a fucking dogma and
Yeah.
taboo of a dude acting talking about being sexually abused. And I mean, that's even why I wanted it to be like a little like grain of salt with mentioning 50 Cent, because he famously is like homophobic, and there's no secret that homophobia is rampant
for
in rap,
sure.
in the rap community.
But like it's great you bring it up, because I remember when the Diddy stuff first dropped, the biggest thing was like, Diddy's gay,
Yeah.
you know, and it wasn't even the whole like.
That wasn't the
Yeah,
thing.
it's like, I mean, yeah, but like, you guys,
That's
what
not
about
the
this
imp-
other
yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, and this isn't, and I bring up that point not to lecture like anybody
Oh,
who's
for
listening
sure.
or
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more in the sense of like, it's funny. Like I'm not gonna acknowledge that the word freak off isn't funny. Like not the situation is funny,
Yeah.
but I mean like there isn't like a little bit of like I guess like a obscure
It's
kind of like
It's an outlandish, like, without
Like, it's
context.
humorous
thing to hear.
name
Yeah.
to call it. And I think, and I understand why people are being a little bit more like, I guess, like silly with it. But when you really read into it, it's like there's no funny business going around, bro. There's
It's
nothing
disturbing,
fucking
yeah.
funny about this. Bro, there's so much. It's a thick amount of research that I fucking did. It's disturbing, bro.
Yeah.
It's really disturbing, because like now all these videos are coming out where you see Sean Combs, Diddy interacting with like your favorite celebrities, some of whom are underage, like you bring like Usher and Justin Bieber, who are men, and you see them visibly in those videos look uncomfortable, and you can't help but feel for their innocence. You know, at Usher, there's a interview where he talked about that he felt like when he went to Diddy's place, he learned all things about sex from him. He's like he talks about how you'd go into a random room and there'd be people in there having sex. And Usher was like, what, 15?
Yeah.
He was like 14, 15. And then Justin Bieber has never publicly said anything about it, but there's a video of 48 Hours with Diddy. Have you heard about it? They're on YouTube. You can look it up. There's this video called 48 Hours with Diddy, uploaded by Justin Bieber's personal YouTube, where he's going to spend 48 hours under the care of Diddy. He's going to stay at his home. And in the video, like, you know how I brought up earlier that Diddy's not self-aware? He's acting very strange, and he's saying words and phrases like, I'm going to show him a young boy's dream. I'm going to show the fantasy that every young boy has. He says that in the video. And Justin Bieber's easily like 13, 14 in the video. And then a year later, people bring up this video of where Justin Bieber interacts with Diddy. He's recording like an album. It's behind the scene footage. And Diddy goes up to him and he's like, yo, what's up? And he dabs him up, right? And Justin Bieber's like, oh, we got Diddy here. And you can see that Justin Bieber is very visually disturbed. And then they're just talking. And then P Diddy goes like, yo, bro, you act different now that you're all big, huh? You think you're all big, you're starting to act different. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, you don't hit me up, you don't be hanging out with me the same way you used to. How come, man? Like, is it because you're all successful now? And Justin Bieber, he's literally like this little ass kid. He's like, no, you never saved my phone number, you know? So like, I haven't really had like a way of contacting you. And he's like all nervous. It's so fucking unnerving knowing what you know now too.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, like you can't help but feel for some of these people.
Yeah.
And
well,
go ahead.
Well, and then going off Justin Bieber. I mean, I don't know. It's not public, right? It's all of this
It's
is
all
alleged. Well, specifically the Justin
Yeah.
Bieber stuff,
Yeah.
you know, it's all alleged. But in response to that, like Steve was saying, it's like this open secret kind of where a lot of celebrities, a lot of stuff's coming up about how weird that they have been acting, you know? And like specifically kind of using the Justin Bieber thing kind of to branch off. Like there was this tweet that came up from Rihanna where she was saying that she saw Justin Bieber's like six pack when he was like 15 and she was like 27 or something. And she was like, that's really hot, you know?
She specifically said sexy.
Yeah. Or like, I remember when this happened, but I think Justin Bieber's older than me. So when I was a kid, he seemed much like, you know what I mean? You know, like how when you're like 12 and you
mature.
see, when you're like 12 and you see somebody who's like 16, you think they're like
an adult.
25, you know,
Yeah.
where he's giving this award and this woman just comes up and fondles him and kisses him. And he
like,
openly says like, whoa, I feel kind of violated. I didn't like that. And they're all just kind of laughing at him, you know, stuff like that is like, I guess coming to light in response to that atmosphere of the music industry. And it's pretty disturbing, honestly.
That's what I mean by like, how do you not get people just fucking tearing down studios and fucking like just destroying shit? Like the outrage to this should be fucking unbearable, bro.
Yeah.
Like the fact that this is just such an open secret in the industry is it's disgusting is almost too easy of a word to give, bro.
There's not a vile enough word to describe
I think
it.
it's just crazy, I guess, a lot of things that are coming out within the industries.
Yeah.
Because you know how earlier
Epstein, Weinstein, and Diddy.
You know how the thing came out of like of how, you know, child actors and the things that they go through. And I think to see that in the film industry or like, you know, in that side of the TV industry, and then to now see in the music industry of like how it is and how a lot of people are just being like, you know, mistreated and violated, and to see that there's like not a safe space to even be open about it is what I guess for me is like getting me of like people feel like they can't open themselves to it because nobody's gonna believe them, or like there's no actual consequences to them, or like everybody's been quiet because of the power trips, you know, like there's people who are powerful and like they can end your career or whatever. And I just think that that's the crazy part of like,
you would think more celebrities would come out and say something about Diddy since he apparently knew everybody and everybody was at his party.
Well, yeah, it's because I don't know. I guess power corrupts, man. I mean, I can't even begin to understand the psychology, honestly. Like,
but I mean, speaking of now, I get like at least being afraid before, but now that this guy's in fucking prison,
I just don't. I think people don't want to be associated, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, our involvement is he the one where they were saying that he would sell the videos?
Yeah,
to other celebrities.
Supposedly on the dark web, there's videos of like celebrities, in the orgies, and then he would sell them to other celebrities because he would make them at his mansion. Yeah, I don't know if that's part of the thing. That's alleged.
Like that's one of the alleged things that he did.
The same thing with Epstein. Epstein apparently did the same thing. You know, but that is what's crazy. Was that it's mentioned at the FBI report when they raided his home, was that
they seized tapes.
That they seized all the tapes, and they specifically said that Diddy had cameras everywhere, and they said that basically the leading theory is that he had them there for blackmail. That most people who were in that house were unaware that they were being videotaped. Yeah. So celebrities who were involved at these freak-offs, apparently, a lot of them didn't even know they were being taped. Yeah. And so there's a lot of incriminating. You might see in the next few years, no bullshit, you might genuinely see some of your favorite celebrities get taken down. And the reason why, I know people always say that, like with the Epstein list and stuff, the reason why this is different was because the FBI successfully raided his home, which they couldn't really do with Epstein. And two, Sean Combs, as of right now, is alive. Yeah. And because he's alive, he might want to make like a deal. If he doesn't, the guy who, it's so cool, the guy who's leading the case against Diddy, he's like this, like, he's almost like an anime character. Like, he's got aura, bro. Like,
he's like Truth and Justice.
Yeah, he's like Batman. He did like a press conference, and he basically said at the end where he's like, he gave out a warning. He put up this law on his little projector, and he basically said that this law says that if anybody even knows of a federal crime that has been committed and isn't and doesn't confess or come up to us, is worthy of being in prison for a minimum of 3 years. So basically, just even knowing about it and never if you've never even said anything, you might go to prison for that. And he said, and he will come. He literally says he will come after you if you knew anything about this. And so he's basically saying that so that way people make a deal with the government so they can
take him.
Yeah,
down.
so they can get information.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's looking like this dude is fucked.
I saw recently that he's not eating in prison.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he's afraid he's gonna be poisoned. Supposedly.
Yeah. You know
He's at the same prison that Epstein was at.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, dang.
Isn't that crazy?
Wait, aren't they saying that he's like on suicide watch or something?
Yeah.
So was Epstein.
They put him in a precautionary one because of what happened to Epstein, because it's so similar.
Yeah.
And he's in the same prison.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe he won't make it, but I
don't
hope
know.
he makes it, bro.
It's
The world
just-
needs to know.
These industries, man, it's just shocking. Like these industries, man, they're so scary. It's like scary. It's
Right.
disturbing. Like you said, it's the politicians with Epstein. It's the
movie and
movie
TV.
and TV with Weinstein. And it's
Music.
It's music with Diddy, and then with sports, people say it's Vince McMahon. You know, it's crazy that every single industry has these
Well, I wonder.
sexual deviants.
Going back to what we said earlier in the pod, I wonder if it's because we are in the age of information. Like I guess because like the optimism in me, if you could see any in this fucking dark cloud, is that I wonder if this is generally like the thing that puts a change, because you've never seen anything like this before.
Back to back.
Yeah, Weinstein, Epstein, Diddy, and Mr. McMahon. You've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
They're all getting exposed all within like around the same time frame.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it's because there's a lot more accessibility to information.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I hope that this is actually what brings the change, and people can chase their dreams trying to be in these industries without any worry of being abused or taken advantage of.
And I think it's crazy because it's a valid fear. I've talked about it before, and I talk about it all the time, like off air with him. Was and because me and Steve went to film school, right? And we have aspirations of joining that industry. But I remember one of my favorite teachers ever in high school. He would always talk to me about it because he worked as a writer, and he would always say like, "Are you sure?" Like kind of like joking, but not really. You know what I mean? Kind of just more being like just probing. And he would always say like, "Oh, are you sure? Like, is that really what you want to do?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, like I think so." And he would always kind of just say like, just be careful, you know, because he would allude to that he was in that same industry, and he said one of his bosses, he saw something really disturbing and he left immediately. And I remember he never had this air.
He told us,
he,
yeah.
He never had this air of like, don't do it because you can't do it. It was always just be careful, like that's a dangerous industry. And at the time, it's not that I didn't take it seriously. I was just more like, I guess naive. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like
You weren't aware.
I wasn't aware. I was probably like 16. And now I'm like, wow, that's
Yeah,
you know?
I just think, honestly, I'm like thinking about it right now, and I'm just like, it makes me sad because in that aspect of like, people have dreams to be in these industries, right? And I think to hear that they're actually dangerous in this way is very discouraging sometimes. Or it's like you have to do, or it seems, not that you have to, but it seems like there's a point where you may or may not like be taken advantage of.
yeah.
And I think having that fear to like go into these industries is not the right way, especially and I think it sucks because there's a lot of people who are very, less fortunate, and like when they finally make it, or like they're there, they're gonna do anything to get up to the top. And it's just like there's people who are evil and abusive,
They're monsters
that like
know?
that take advantage of those people who have that dream. And I think that's very like messed up in itself, of like people are messing with people's dreams, and people are just so evil in like being this abusive to them.
Yeah.
Because like I think we each have like our own thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think like we each want to be like in like film or entertainment or anything,
Yeah.
or whether that is and to think that there's people who like warn you of like, oh,
Yeah.
just be careful.
Yeah,
But it's
dude.
like, bro, like how is that
Acceptable.
how is
Yeah.
that like a thing that
I
you
get
you
you.
have to tell people like,
Yeah.
oh, just be careful? But it's just like,
And not just
Oh,
be
sure.
like, it shouldn't just be that way. Right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it gives you chills. Because to me, it's like, not only is this industry, in a weird way, like dedicated to keeping you out of it. Like unless you're connected, you have family in the industry, or you're like a white person,
yeah,
they don't want shit to do with you unless you can make them like a ton of money, right?
yeah,
But it's even more like disturbing that once you get in there, it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like scarily dangerous, you
Yeah.
know? I don't
Yeah.
know. And
No, yeah. 100%.
just
bro.
celebrities, man. Fucking, because even YouTube. I swear, even YouTubers, man. Like, I don't get it. Like, what is it with? I guess just they're right, bro. Power corrupts.
Power corrupts, bro. You gotta have a level head. But this just
Yeah.
goes on. Just wrapping up my segment to go into Brandon's. If you're not educated on it, I think you should educate yourself because I think it actually ties a lot into pop culture and pop culture obsession. I think it's actually a little bit important just to like know the facts because this is you can't lie and deny that everybody's heard about this. It's viral, you know, is mega viral. I just think be aware. And some people were saying that this is a theory, so disclaimer, it's not what I'm saying. People are like, oh, it's clearly like a distraction, right? People want to get
For what?
I guess from like the election.
Oh.
It's like it's a distraction, they're trying to, which I don't
Come
know.
on now.
I don't think so. But I just think educated, and I hope that this exposure of these monsters in the industry just leads to a better industry because I think art is
sure.
beautiful, and I think that if you're talented and you're capable, you shouldn't be held back by the fear of other people abusing you.
Yeah.
So that's all I'll say about that. Brandon,
Well
what
said.
did you bring
Well said.
for this week?
I guess I don't know if you want to give the context of Destiny because I'm not really gonna touch on it because I don't know. It's more of a new thing, and you're better at retelling stories than I am.
Destiny.
yeah. Well,
do you think it's important?
I think so. I think it could tie back in. So what I
Okay.
wanted to talk about today is this thing called dead internet theory. So I guess just to give background, I'm very, very summarizing it, right? It comes from this, I believe, Reddit thread posted in 2021 before the rise of ChatGPT, really, where this person is posing this conspiracy theory that they said the internet died in around 2016 or 2017. And what they mean by the internet died is that the internet isn't human anymore. And what they mean by that is all the activity on the internet is mostly bots or AI designed and perpetrated by governments, corporations to steer public opinions into, to control their perception, to manipulate consumers, and even, push for certain government policies. So it's more just implying that most of the internet is empty. There's not really people on it anymore. It's just bots and AI.
Interacting with each other, right?
Yeah,
Driving
kind of.
engagement.
Exactly. And I guess this is more coming back now because you can see at the time, I guess people were kind of like, yeah, sure. Like, you know,
At the time, yeah, sure. But now with
'cause
AI,
at the time, bots existed.
Yeah.
Bots have existed for a
but
good
they
minute.
weren't that complex.
Yeah, but the rise of ChatGPT, it's getting a lot more. I guess that's why people came back to this theory because if you look online, there's dozens of just AI art. You look on Facebook and an AI like sand sculpture of Jesus that isn't real gets like 1 million views on people who either don't know it's real or that it's fake, or other AI pushing that engagement through bots or itself just to completely make that the most popular thing on the internet. And with all these bots and AI pushing AI to be the main like forefront of the internet, you can kind of see how it's starting to look like most of the internet is just AI. And the reason what interested me in this was Steve sent me this video of Destiny on.
Do you want me to retell it a little?
Yeah.
Okay, so if what Brandon just said is all true, but if you want a real life example of the fact that this might be happening, look up on YouTube. The title of this video is called Destiny's Schizo Arc. So for context, from what I can gain, there's this guy, this famous influencer called Destiny, and one day he goes onto his Twitter and he finds that there's all these fake accounts of him impersonating him, saying outrageous, racist, harmful stuff, right? And somehow, some way, Elon Musk picks up on what his account is saying, his fake account, and his official Twitter account gets demonetized. And so Destiny, obviously enraged, annoyed, like, who the fuck is making these fake accounts of me? He looks into it and he starts arguing with these bots. Whoa, what he thought were real people. And it dawns on him that, wait a minute, some of these people aren't real. And he goes deep diving into their bio and their profile, and he looks at their pictures and their actions, and he says, and you can tell this, he says this, but you can tell this too. It's something about the way that they talk. It's very automated. It's very much an unnatural way of speaking. And he sees tens of accounts just all aimed at him, just constantly berating him, saying insulting things to him, making somewhat complex jokes at his expense. And so he's in the middle of his night, not streaming. Nobody knows this. He's in his private Discord chat with some of his followers, just kind of breaking down all these AI or bots, whatever it is that are messaging him. And as they're discussing this, an account that has never talked or interacted in that chat. This is, of course, a chat that is not online, it is not popular, is a very personal chat for Destiny. This new account drops this video and says like, "Oh, are you guys thinking these accounts aren't real? One of the accounts you guys are pointing out, here's proof of them being real," and drops a video. And Destiny's, he's very tech savvy. So he immediately looks at this account that he's never seen before, and he's like, where did this account come from? Let me look at its email address. And he looks at his email. I'm literally getting chills because it's so crazy. He looks at his email, and he says, and the email is called fordestiny@gmail.com. So, and he looks at when that was made, and it was literally just made a few minutes ago from when they were talking about it in the chat. So basically, to in layman's terms, a new account out of the blue was just created in the last few minutes in order to message Destiny, to try and convince Destiny that the accounts that he's saying are fake are actually real people. So Destiny dives into the investigation a little bit more, and this is where he goes live on stream randomly I think on a Thursday at 2 a.m. I assume because he's a little afraid, because this is starting to ring some
red flags.
Flags. So he's live streaming and he's showing everybody about these fake accounts that are extremely, extremely weird, and the fake For Destiny account puts another link of the guy that he's calling fake, which is a court document. And you look at the court document, and there's all kinds of misspelling. There's sentences and paragraphs that are run-ons that don't make any sense, and it's very clear that this account in and of itself is an AI trying to defend another AI to try and prove to Destiny that all these accounts are actually real. And that's kind of where it ends. It's a cliffhanger because it's real life. Yeah. There's not really a definitive
resolution
ending
yet.
Yeah. But it posed people into that theory of like, wow, there's a lot of fake AI accounts out there that even try and convince you that they're real.
And even to somebody who, I don't mean this as an insult, Destiny's online as a career. He's very tech savvy. So for it to fool him for as long as it did is pretty chilling, at least to me. It would have fooled me because he shows in one of his chats that he's having an argument with one of these bots, and it's calling him a cuck. It's like, oh, you're just a cuck, like this, and that. And when he looks into it, he's like, wait a minute, like this is a fake account. And he figures it out because that account posted the picture that it found off of Reddit from someone else.
Yeah.
And he's mind blown, being like, how did this AI like have such a sophisticated argument with me? And as people were talking about, it's like, in essence, he even implies it in the stream. He says, I know this sounds silly and it's going to sound a little weird coming from me, but I'm not suicidal, and I've never been. Because the implications of what he's finding, whether or not you take him seriously or not, are scary. Somebody with power is sending AI after him, gang stalking him, bullying him, trying to ruin his reputation, trying to gaslight him. That's really scary. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they demonetized his account, and they all really had probably programmed into themselves a conservative personality.
Yeah.
Which is odd. I don't think it's odd because I think conservatives are odd. I think it's weird that the AIs are, like right-leaning. Like, why? Like, who programmed that? Who made that?
Yeah, to me, it's odd. Yeah. To me, what the scary part is in a vacuum, somebody didn't like Destiny's rhetoric, his political rhetoric. He's pointing people in a rhetoric that whoever's behind this AI doesn't like. So whoever's behind this AI has a right-leaning conservative background who sent AI after him to bully him, harass him, ruin his reputation, because they didn't like his rhetoric.
Yeah.
Now, that's disturbing because in a vacuum, think about that. You're spitting rhetoric that somebody doesn't like. They could send AI after you to bully you, make you question yourself, make you paranoid, scared, think that you're imagining things, influence people to give you a bad reputation. That's terrifying because no matter how smart you are, no matter how tech savvy you are, no matter how composed you are, you can't keep up with AI.
Yeah.
It's too much, you know? And then to be like, oh, is this real? Is this not real? Even if it just makes you get off the platform, that's really scary as an implication. You know, and the way that I kind of was like, when I was watching this video, it reminded me of dead internet theory because they're adjacent, like that video and this, but I wouldn't say that was about dead internet theory. But I looked up to it, and it's coming back, that theory, because everybody's saying, well, did AI kill the internet? Because here's some facts that I found. Studies on social media bots, an example from 2017, found that 15% of Twitter users were bots. And 2020, the estimations right that 48 million bot accounts are on Twitter. That's insane.
That's a large portion of Twitter users.
Yeah, and this is from before ChatGPT.
That's 2017. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. Imagine now. That's insane. And here's more research, right? So projections from multiple sources. A lot of people have different understandings. Some people say by 2025. But for the most consensus, people say, like experts will say, by 2026, 90% of online content will be AI generated. So even if there's just for an example, even if there's 1 million human videos, AI is going to flood the internet with 90 million videos. And that's, to me, really insane.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it and I was like, can you imagine if you're spitting a rhetoric that is important, encouraging people to educate yourself, and AI just floods the ecosystem with videos that are unrelated but have your same exact topic? Like, let's say we were talking about
machismo or something.
Machismo or indigenous cultures and stuff like that. And somebody out there didn't like that we were talking about that. They could, in theory, flood the internet with millions of videos with the same exact title, and they would never find our video. You know?
Yeah.
That to me is like, I don't know, that's really scary to me because it's like, wow, like, as we were talking about earlier, we live in the age of information now. But can you imagine, like, the age of disinformation seems to be on its rise? Because you mentioned earlier that they have that AI picture of Kamala Harris with P Diddy. There's those fake porn that people make that have already influenced legislation. Taylor Swift sued, and I think Scarlett Johansson is in the middle of a lawsuit too, because one of the AI software developers asked her to use her voice, and she explicitly said no, and they fucking did it anyway. And Gavin Newsom, you talked about it like 2 weeks ago. He just signed a new law about AI being used in campaigns. And I don't know. I just find it really disturbing because it's like, it seems like it's already out.
Yeah.
Like it's already loose. I think, I don't know, like for it to be in 2026, already 90% of online content. Imagine like 10 years. Like, would the amount of human content even show up as a percent? Would it be like 0.0001%?
No, yeah.
That's like,
no. I mean, you're right, because that's what I think about too. Because somebody pointed it out in the comments that was I don't know, very profound to me, where they were like, "There's something so haunting about imagining that there's vast landscapes of the internet, vast pages upon pages of the internet, where it's just AIs talking and interacting with each other, where no human will live their whole life and never enter, but there'll be a whole ecosystem in there of just bots, of soulless ideas and literature. You know, there's something so haunting about it. It's like going to like a farm or a ghost town where there's nobody who lives there. Yeah. You know, I think that's what's scary about me, and it's cool because it's spooky season.
Yeah, that's
so it's the perfect.
But I think another thing that I also want to discuss was, I looked into this, like I talk about it all the time, but I finally like looked into it. So, you know, when people talk about how social media will push divisiveness for engagement, you know, the people who do those studies are the companies themselves. So
Really?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the people who do those studies that try and like find out about that are those companies. And they're doing that to try and disprove that. But it's kind of like flat earthers trying to prove that the earth is flat. It's really hard to
What's biased, right?
Yeah, it's insanely biased. So I guess going back to the Destiny thing, seeing how that AI is conservative and how it just somehow is in his Discord, I can only imagine the level of divisiveness that this could create. You know, because like I've seen the picture of Kamala Harris with Diddy, right? And I know well enough that that's fake. There's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine like in 10 years? I know it'll probably be indistinguishable in like 1 year.
Yeah.
But in 10 years, when probably the best scientists can't even distinguish it, the amount of divisiveness, like even just one guy, like one guy who hates a certain group or hates a certain rhetoric can do with just that, that's insane to me. It feels like a nuclear bomb to information, you know? And I don't even know like what you do at that point. Because in reading this too, a lot of people were talking about how a lot of companies are really concerned with security now, because a lot of people are starting to suspect that deepfakes are getting so good that they'll be better than identity theft. That a lot of people and researchers find that even family members can't recognize when somebody uses that or changes their voice. Because if you think about that, what's even the point of that being made? Like, what's the practical use of that? What's the practical use of that?
I guess like in movies and stuff for like de-aging people and stuff.
But I guess for me, when I think about that, even then I'm like, what's the point? It's
true.
It's haunting to me, like that's occurring, because I don't know. It's something that I'm like, I don't know if people keep up with this.
Yeah, because I almost can't even theorize like what the outcome will be. Like, what does a society look like where most of our entertainment and media is just created by fake AI?
Yeah.
And I guess what kind of was giving me chills, 'cause I was doing this in the middle of the night. What was giving me chills is like, it almost feels like, you know how people used to say the internet is not a real place?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the internet is affecting the real world.
Yeah.
There's like I said, legislation being done, political campaigns being affected, people's livelihoods being gang stalked by AI. It kind of feels like the internet isn't a real place, but we created a real creature that lives there.
Yeah.
And it's loose. And it can do anything and everything far beyond our imagination or our physical abilities can do or compete with. And that to me kind of feels scary, that on your internet, there's some loose creature that can literally do anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that Pennywise globe over there.
Yeah, right.
That's what it looks like in my head.
I would just say, like, I don't know, man. You guys gotta buy a physical media.
We gotta do something, bro. Before it's too late. And some people would say it's already too late, but I don't think so.
Well, because I remember also too. I know I'm running on a little bit, but
No, go ahead.
I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson where he talked about, or some scientist, where they ask him about like this is before ChatGPT. This is before really the rise of AI as we know it now. Where they were talking about like, oh, like as a scientist, what do you think about artificial intelligence? Do you think it's gonna be like the movies or? And he says, I don't think it's gonna be like Skynet, but my fear is more, what if the AI can't understand a directive or takes it too far? You know what I mean? Like, and I remember we brought it up before, but I couldn't quite fathom how it would look in real life outside of some sort of grand scheme. Like people would talk about like, what if you tell AI to like solve, I don't know, world hunger and it kills everybody? Well, no, nobody's hungry.
Yeah.
And you know, that sounds like a fantasy, but like if you look at stuff like this, what if you tell AI to divide people and it takes it really too far?
Yeah.
What if it creates a deep fake video of a politician getting assassinated and it sends it to another state, you know, and it causes conflict.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is a really scary implication, because now I can practically see what people are talking about with an AI not understanding a directive. Because what if that was what was happening in Destiny? What if the directive was not to like do all that, but it was like it just didn't understand?
it was like yeah, you mess with him.
Yeah,
It's
mess
like,
with them.
you know, just I don't like this guy. Make him miserable.
Yeah.
But then it took it really far, where it literally was trying to induce some sort of schizophrenia. You know, some paranoia.
Like, what if it sent it after somebody who really had mental issues,
Yeah.
who was really already paranoid about that certain thing, and it gaslighted them into taking action to harm themselves or others? That's, I don't know, that's terrifying to me.
Well, it's true because I mean, it's harder if we talk about how AIs don't have the ability to feel emotions and stuff. How can they understand nuance and you know, like morality? Because if you have an AI, you have the power to control an AI, and you're like, I want my candidate to win, make him win by any means necessary. Well, how will that AI understand the emotions and the nuance of morality, where they feel like something can be taken too far?
Yeah.
And there comes a point where there are things more important than an election to be won.
Yeah, and to me, it's also like, oh man, like I know everybody's saying like, oh well, you know, I've used ChatGPT and it doesn't let you do that. Well, obviously, the fact that there's AI porn now, there's AI gore, there's all these things. There's people who have versions of it that don't have those restrictions.
Yeah.
Not hard to imagine that it can, without restrictions, it's such a destructive force. It's insane.
And bro, imagine. I wonder what the government has. I wonder how their version of AI works. Theirs must be insanely advanced. That's what I blows my fucking mind, dude.
Yeah.
Is that this is new for the public, but it for sure has not been new for the government for a while.
And I think what I was watching this video. I forget his name, but I remember the name of the video. It's called "Dead Internet Theory: How AI Killed the Internet." And his closing line is, he's like, "I feel like AI is the new nuclear bomb," and he's saying, and not just in its destructive force, but he's like, we're talking about a creation that is tested on the public, that was done without the public's consent, and is now loose and can't be done, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And to me, I don't know, it's scary because even no matter how much I can say, oh, proceed with caution, you know, don't do this, don't do that, it's out. Like it's not like, it's like, you know, that expression like, oh, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Yeah, but you can't unscramble those eggs either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of people. There's a lot of analogies like that where when you open the box, it's easier to let something out than put it back in.
Yeah, and I don't know, terrifying stuff to think about.
Spooky season.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, we scared. Ooh.
Oh, and then I'll edit in a glitch. So like,
Yeah. We get like electrocuted.
Yeah.
Y'all about to spook all the viewers and the listeners.
It's spooky season. We should be spooking all the viewers. Come on, guys. And you guys wonder why I'm gonna be religious again. You see, y'all shit on me. Y'all shit on me. But this is the type shit that makes me religious.
This how we become religious.
Can you imagine if somebody makes themselves like a deity through AI?
How? What do you mean?
I don't know. What if it's like convince people that I am a deity? People can.
That is kind of crazy.
People can do that in person through cults and stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI-driven cult.
Assisted.
All I kept thinking about too is how you kept saying that most of the internet, or like when people do content, like it might be made out of like an AI. So like you just kept thinking about creators and stuff, and how like that's also even more discouraging of like making your own like stuff, like you know, like us making our content, and as much as we try to push, like AI keeps kind of like going against us.
Did you know there's AI podcasts now?
Yeah.
Really?
There's AI that you can listen to. Damn. There's AI music you can listen to. There's this stream this guy puts it in the video, that since the ability to make AI generated music, it's a nonstop stream of completely entirely new AI music, constantly 24 hours, and it's been going for years now.
Yeah, the AI podcast one is crazy because someone used an example of like, I want to listen to a podcast about potatoes, and so he plays it, and the podcast is insane because it's literally like this. They even make jokes. They're like, and this is no spud. They say stuff like that. Like it's a woman and a man talking. It's like, today we're gonna learn about potatoes. It's crazy, man, because like you said, what a twisted world that our future is filled with robots and AIs taking all the creative jobs, and humans are stuck doing the dead end everyday manufacturer work.
Yeah,
but I think as long as, the fact that you and me exist means that if it's gonna happen, it's not gonna happen easy, bro.
Yeah,
it's not gonna fucking happen easy.
Yeah,
the fact that people are concerned about it, because there is a great disdain for AI, and the industry, people get backlash upon backlash when people use AI.
I've seen I actually saw an EDM artist use and produce a song with AI, and a lot of people have been like, "That's whack. Why would you do that?"
Yeah.
That's what gives me hope,
I'm
bro.
glad. As a doomer,
As a doomer,
please don't support people who, I'm not saying use elements of AI or use it as a tool, but who strictly use AI as their art. I feel like that's just, no, don't do that. Buy physical media while you still can. You know what? Buy
He's
books.
Go
Buy
into a
books.
bunker.
Buy books. I would really buy books.
he's not saying go to a bunker. He's actually giving you stuff though.
Yeah.
True.
Let him be. Let him
Yeah,
talk,
sorry,
let him
sorry,
talk,
sorry.
Because I was thinking, like, you know how they try to ban books, and in many states they've successfully banned stuff like it's called Mouse, where it's about like it's kind of is euphemism the right word?
Yeah, I think
About Hitler and the rise of that kind of thing. It's banned. The Animal
Really?
Farm is banned. 1984. All these things are banned, and you might be able to find them online. But again, imagine. And the reason I say this, and people are like, "Whoa, what'd you think of that?" You know that conspiracy theory about why Disney made the movie Frozen?
Yeah.
That where it says they made the movie
Yeah.
Frozen so that when you search up Disney Frozen, you stop getting Disney's head is frozen.
Yeah.
You get the movie. I can only imagine how if you search up 1984, Google or whoever's paid to host that information, hey, I don't want you this legislation. I don't want you to have that come up. Just have it flooded with AI, make it impossible to find. A needle in a haystack that's endless. You know,
That's infinite.
that's why I'm like, buy physical media, buy banned books. Maybe there's art that you like that's controversial that you might not have access to anymore. You know, support real people because you never know, man.
It's true, dude. Stay true to your human self, man.
Yeah.
And then, fuck, dude. That's a bar though.
Yeah.
Stay true to your human self, man. Make sure go to nature.
For humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This podcast will always be for humans, by humans, and oh, you started scooching. But that's our show today, guys. Happy spooky season. Shout out to our patrons. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this month's episodes because they're gonna get spooky, guys.
Shout out to imagine there's one of them that's like an anagram for artificial intelligence.
It's Adam Ibarra,
something like
AI.
that. Yeah. Shout out to Yoel, Jada Chicano, Angel Zamaron, Eli Quintero, I Am Potato Tots, Carla Corazon, Stephen Carvajal, Sarah without an H, and El Verdugo de Pasadena. You guys help make this show possible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your patronage. It's greatly appreciated.
It really is.
If anybody is watching and you're real, please subscribe to our Patreon. Support us.
We lose subscribers
This
entirely.
this really is like I could see this ending like those Disney Channel Halloween specials where I turn around and my eyes like glowing red.
Oh yeah.
Make them glow.
Make them glow.
Oh yeah, edit that in.
That your eyes are glowing. But yeah, thank you to everybody for watching. We really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.